Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting. All right, coming to you today with a little bit of a practice that I've created in terms of something that I use in my day-to-day life to help me, one, perform at a better level, but also to help me ingrain new beliefs and self-validation in terms of my thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and feelings. All right, so it's basically picking up from full brain activation. So this is a process that works hand in hand with full brain activation to be able to basically reprogram our subconscious thought or implant new beliefs into our subconscious thought. All right, so like in the other practice, okay, of full brain activation, what we got to remember is our right hand is controlled by our left hemisphere. Our left hand is controlled by our right hemisphere. And when we cross those over, what we're able to do is we're able to perform at a higher level in terms of being able to implant consciously our thoughts and beliefs into our subconscious, but also to reprogram our subconscious thought. Now, this practice is outlined in the workshop in detail, but basically what we have to understand, okay, when trying to reprogram our subconscious, okay, what we need to do is we need to have 100% clarity, but we need to have our language patterns set. So the easiest way to start this practice off is by writing down the new language patterns that we wish to implant into our subconscious. Now, we have to keep them simple and easy to understand because this practice is about repetitive conditioning. So repeating the same language pattern again and again and again until our subconscious language patterns or our subconscious narrative shifts. Okay, and how we understand it shifting is by an emotional shift or an emotional state change within ourselves. So, for example, if we wanted to implant, trust within ourselves, like I trust myself to be able to overcome any challenge that may come up, and I trust in my ability that I prepare and do the work prior to taking the action, and in the action I trust myself that if things went against me, what would happen is I have the ability to overcome that. Okay, because we got to understand that a big thing that stops us from being able to take action is the fear of failure. So how do we overcome the fear of failure? Well, the fear of failure is overcome by a deep understanding of even if I fail, I'll be okay with that. All right. So the key is we have to remember that, especially when we're reprogramming subconscious thoughts, for the new thought to be implanted or for that thought to be reprogrammed, what we need to do is we need to kill the other one. The other one must die. Now, in our subconscious, okay, especially when we're dealing with our subconscious, we have to have the awareness that these thought patterns and these narratives are separate from our conscious thought. Okay, so if we don't do this practice properly and we don't show ourselves the highest level of respect when doing this practice, what will happen is we will entrench those negative beliefs or those negative narratives even deeper. Okay, and it's not that we're going to consciously be aware that we've entrenched them even deeper, because the thing is our subconscious controls our emotions and our feelings. So we will feel more negative. That negative narrative will have more power over us. So we've got to understand a very key aspect of this practice is in doing it, we have to have 100% certainty in what we're setting out to achieve. We have to have 100% certainty or 100% commitment to following it through. Because what will happen is our subconscious mind will try and fight back. Okay, so if we want to override these subconscious thought patterns and these narratives, okay, we got to understand that we're going to have to move through them. So the old narrative will try to shift our belief or shift our current thought pattern or whatever it may be. So we got to keep our language patterns simple, okay, so that we're able to remember them. And then it's just through repeating. And how I explain it to people is basically we start, in a low voice in our head. And then as we get resistance, we arch our back, and then we get louder, and then we get harder, and we start to, really dig in and start fighting with our subconscious, because our subconscious is going to try and manipulate us it's going to present every memory, every thought, every negative emotion to try and hold on to that negative thought pattern or that negative narrative. So what we have to do is we have to arch our back and say, no, I am the master of my destiny. I am the master of, the thoughts that I have, the narrative that I create. And every time it shows us something negative, we destroy it. Okay, and how we destroy it is by becoming louder. Now, it's not that we're shouting, but in our mind, we are shouting. So as I say, it starts as a whisper, it moves up to, a loud conversation, and we end off in a shout. And we shout down that negative emotion, okay, that negative thought pattern, that negative language pattern, that negative, narrative, until it understands that there is only the narrative that we give. There is only the narrative or the language pattern that we give. And what happens is by repeating it, what we're able to do is we're able to condition in that new thought pattern. Now, how this works in our brain, we got to understand that our brain is just synaptic pathways. So what will happen is by us repeating again and again and again the same statement or the same language pattern or the same narrative, okay, our subconscious will start to pick that up as being true, because our subconscious doesn't understand logic, reason, so we can't reason with it. We have to override it, okay? And we override it through our conscious thought. And we got to understand how powerful our conscious thought is. So if we were to, for example, become muddled, become distracted, okay, what will happen is we'll start giving into that negative thought pattern or that negative narrative, and we'll start to let it take back control. So this is in essence going to war with yourself when you do this practice, okay? So when we're trying to reprogram our subconscious thought, we have to be willing to do whatever it takes, and we have to be committed to seeing it through, regardless of how our subconscious makes us think or feel. So if you would like to understand this at a higher level, jump on and check out the workshop, because the workshop is designed, okay, with activities that help you understand and help you do this through how I do it, through my experience and the processes that I personally use and developed to really understand this at a high level. And what this practice does is this practice leverages on Psych-k, psychology, kinestology. All right. Well, you have a great day and check out the workshop. Thanks so much. Bye.